Hello. Welcome to another live stream. With me, as always, is Glenn. Hello, Glenn.
How are you?
I've jumped straight into it today. I'm
Jump
not bad.
straight in. Jump straight in. Do it.
Yeah. I feel a bit on bed. I've not even set up my microphone properly yet. I've been messing about with my phone. Very good.
Okay.
Are you keeping well?
Oh, I'm living the dream, mate. Living the dream. I'm going to faff around with my lighting then while you're doing that. Oh, no, that's even
How
worse.
disorganised are we really today?
Well, really, I mean, we did talk about it very briefly before we came on, just how disorganised we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to say hey to the people in the comments because we've got people in the viewing area, audience.
The viewing area. Yeah. Backstage in the green room.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So we've got Slipknot fan. Hey, Slipknot, how are you doing? We've got Jeremy Carr with us as always. Good evening, Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy Carr.
Jeremy, I'm trusting you to keep these people in the comments in order and get them liking and sharing and subscribing and etc. etc. You know how it goes.
Etc.
Jerry Chia has made it as well. Good evening, Jerry. Hope you're well. We've got Lynn in the other room. Hello, Lynn.
I did earlier about because we ended up faffing with her YouTube account earlier, and I meant to rename her Lynn in the other room, and I forgot. So I will do it for next week.
Make sure you do. Batcave is with us as well. Good evening, Bat.
Batcave.
AJ Pink as well. Hey guys, how we doing? We're doing fine, I think. Jay. Well. John Robinson with us as well. Good evening, John. And Sam Meows a lot. Hello, everyone. And I've missed a couple who were very, very early. We've got Big Jace was with us at some point when we went streaming. So good evening, Big Jace. Just commented on there, due to the bad weather, an area lost its internet. So in this instance, physical is king. So yeah, if you've not got internet, physical media is the way to be. Johnny Carotade is with us as well.
Heed.
Indeed. And also Anthony Lipiello. Good afternoon, Phil. I hope you got around to organising your stuff yet.
Of course he hasn't. Don't be silly.
I haven't. No, I'm making excuses. I've apparently got reasons. I'm kind of making excuses, and I can go into it if you like. Do you want me to go into it?
No, not really.
I have not. Very good. Okay. So I want to say hi to Rohit instead as well.
Hey.
Hi, Rohit. Hope you're well. Good to be back. So, yeah, I'm going to mention it anyway. So the reason I haven't started the call or the organising yet was just purely down to time. I want to get it organised, but I want to do a video of it as well because I want to challenge myself to get rid of a set number of items as I'm organising it. So I thought I'll put it in a video. And then I thought for the video, I'll also, because I'll be taking the shelving out for something else that I want to do because I need to repair damage down here and get it all repainted. So all along here is going to be done as well. So I thought I'll do the call at the same time I'm pulling this stuff out and painting it. And of course, I've not got time to pull it out and paint it all. So I've just not got around to that call yet. But it will be done. I am going to challenge myself to a certain amount and I am going to get rid of a certain amount. And it will be made into a video. Whether I'll do it when I'm decorating or not, I don't know. But we will be doing it. Or I will be doing it.
You will be doing it. I'm not helping you paint.
Huh?
I'm not helping you paint.
No, I will be doing it. There's other stuff going off in here as well, but we're not here for that, are we?
We're not here for your DIY shenanigans, young man.
No. We're also not here for So Meows a lot. Just finished Zelda Wind Waker for GameCube. Just started Zelda Ocarina of Time. So for any gamers out there, cracking games, and So Meows a lot has finished one of them. And they're quite big games as well, so they must take some time. Do you do any gaming now, Glenn?
Still, I mean, it's very rare Call of Duty ever leaves the machine, to be honest. That's our go-to.
PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have we got any other gamers in the chat? Not that it's a gaming channel, but I just thought while we're on the games and see me as well.
You've already started to kind of say that you're going to do a crossover regarding DIY and decorating and things like that. So that's going to bring different people in.
What the beauty is, was somebody has a lot of comments about the GameCube. It's a physical media machine. He's using physical media to play these games. So it's not on Switch, not downloadable. I don't think. Might be downloadable on there, but yeah. But I'm PlayStation 5 as well. But the kids have got an Xbox and a Switch, so I sometimes dabble on them if I can steal the controllers off of them.
Such a dabbler.
Yeah. Jeremy's a dabbler. I dabble in video games.
He's dabbling.
Johnny is a PC gamer.
Oh, okay.
There we go. There we go. But anyway, I'm going to go to the topic. So I'd set us up a topic which was quite vague. Justifying the collection or justifying collecting depends on what way you're looking at it. And this is purely born of me looking through the collection ready to call and considering some of the things that I picked up. Why did I pick them up? What was my justification in picking these things up and things like that? And it got me thinking about the whole justification thing, because when people visit your house, if they see your collection, if anyone sees your collection, if they're visiting, how do they sort of react to it? And do you find yourself justifying it? Because some people see my collection and they think it's absolutely insane. And they'll let me know it's slightly crazy that I've got a silly amount of movies or things like that. But do you feel the need, or do you find yourself trying to justify how you've collected it? I know it's personal to you. It's your collection. It's your love. It's your passion. Is that the sort of things you go for, or do you try and justify it some other way?
Throwing that out to everybody rather than to me.
Everyone and you. Everyone and you.
Well, I'm going to throw that straight back to you, to be honest, because it's probably a more of a you thing because of your... Do you find yourself trying to justify how big
I have done before, yeah, definitely. I mean, excuses have changed over the years. It'd start off like, yeah, I'm a movie collector. I'm a movie fan. This is what I do. This is what I love. So don't pick on it because it's my hobby. It's my thing, and things like that. And then as it's gone on, and I started acting, it was more like, well, I'm an actor now. I need to research, and I need to have all these movies so I can dip into them and research for a character or research a director or what have you. And there's always seemed to be some kind of excuse to it. It's not sort of accepted thing.
And now you've got the kids. So you can go, oh, yeah, well, the boys really like it. So,
well, I've not got that argument particularly anymore because the boys don't care about physical media.
Yeah.
I used to get them all the downstairs, not up here, but I used to get them all the Disney movies, the Pixar particularly. I used to collect each one for them, and they just don't get used anymore. It's all streaming. It's all Netflix and Disney Plus and things like that. So having the excuse of collecting them for the boys or keeping them for them boys, it doesn't particularly float well. Not anymore, anyway, because they are creatures of streaming.
Yeah, it's a different generation now, isn't it? God, I hate that we're talking about people in it that are a different generation, which means we're an older generation.
Makes feel old.
When did that happen?
Yeah, it's they've got a massive shelf full of movies on DVD and things like that, but it all comes back to streaming, and they very rarely look what's on the DVD movie shelf. So yeah, I can't justify having most of those movies in there.
I'm guilty of it this week, though. I thought, I'll give such and such a bit of a look, and I know I've got it on my shelf, but I found it streaming and watched it on there.
But physical media.
Wow. Lynn in the other room flagged a couple of weeks ago. I said to you, she'd never heard of disc rot before.
Right.
And when we were talking about, we always talk about the importance of physical media, and digitally they can change things or they can take them off systems and we don't have them there to watch. And at least we'll always have them. Always have them. And she said, will we always have them if there's such a thing as disc rot? I mean, like I say, that was the first time she'd ever heard of it. So it's a fair argument.
I don't hear of it too much across DVD and Blu-ray at the moment, but I know Laserdiscs, there's a bunch of those that are really suffering. I think it's a certain plant that manufactured them. I think someone's mentioned in the chat before, but yeah, a lot of the Laserdiscs were.
Well, I said to you about that guy in CEX not taking my copy of 7 because he said it was starting to show signs of disc rot. Well, on Wednesday afternoon when I went back in CEX and got served by somebody else and just handed it over, they took it in and scanned it, and away it went, and didn't question it whatsoever. So
you took it in twice?
I took it in twice and just dealt with somebody else, and they took it in. So it's not my
some poor schmuck is going to get your disc rot copy of 7.
Well, I think he was being very overcautious with it the first time round, to be honest. There was no kind of like individual blemishes or anything like that. He was saying the colouring on the outside of the disc all the way down was starting to look tinted. I said the next person that I handed it to, they just had a look, no scratches or anything like that, scanned it.
I need to have a look at one of my early Blu-rays. I think one of the earliest I've got is, if I've still got it, I've not seen it knocking about for a while, but I Am Legend was probably one of the first Blu-rays that I got. So I want to check that out, see if that shows any signs of rot or anything. But yeah, not too worried if it has, but it's just one of those things. I'm going to jump back to comments before we carry on with this one, because we've got a couple more people joined us as well. Woody has joined us as well. PC here too, for the gaming. Only ever online though. Clock of Many. Hey, I'm going to call you Clock. Bit late, but you're here. That's the most important thing.
Exactly.
Johnny, why don't you just watch Netflix? Heard all the time. And the standard reply, pick up, and that's not on Netflix.
Yeah.
Which is the thing. They seem to keep appearing and disappearing far more frequently than they used to across Netflix and Amazon Prime and things like that.
I think it's sod's law, though, if there's a specific title you want to watch and it happens to not be streaming somewhere.
Yeah.
And then obviously you've got the option of buying on digital as well, but
or renting.
Yeah. Last week, need to get into the renting more.
Just depends on the movie and how you feel about it. If you want it in the collection, or if it's just literally watching the film. Because I keep saying I need to consider renting more as an option than actually buying. Because I watched one last night, which I'm glad I caught on streaming rather than picking it up. And it was one that I'd got earmarked on one of the wish lists to pick up at some point and view. But luckily it dropped on Prime and I watched it. That was fine. I was fine with it.
You don't have to highlight his comment, but Jeremy, you're looking in the wrong place.
Fair. I don't know what that relates to yet.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, Jeremy did comment, say 30 watching, 8 likes. Press that damn button. And by damn button, I believe he means the like button. Yes, there we go. Bubble time. AJ, films are my main hobby, so spending money is justified as long as I'm not overspending.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And I think so many of us often go, you know, personally, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't smoke. You know, it's a harmless hobby, so why not do it?
Harmless until you overspend.
Until you overspend.
Yes.
Or you've got such a big bookcase full of films, it falls over on top of you.
Yeah.
Then it's harmful. It's harmful.
That's why I've only got like knee-high shelving.
Most things are knee-high to you anyway, though.
True.
Yeah.
Woody, I have friends that joke about me hoarding, but when they're around, they're drawn into looking at my movie and CD collection and saying, that's a great movie, and so is that.
Yeah, it's a very good point. That happens a lot with me, I think, as well.
I don't really get the opportunity anymore, but when I was younger and we used to have people around more regular, I used to lend out quite a few films, and there was nothing more annoying than lending out films and not getting them back for months. Some of them I've never had back at all.
Oh, I can relate. I could name somebody in the family that's had about 5 or 6 of my films for about 2 years.
Really?
Whenever I drop a polite comment, it's always, oh, they're next to the telly to be watched. Yeah, they're not getting watched though, are they? So you could speed that up, love. That'd be great.
Yeah, I've lent a few. There's a few that I can name that I never had back. And I remember them. Baby Boy on DVD that was imported. The Singleton movie. What's his name? Singleton.
John Singleton.
Yeah, that'll be the one. Yeah, his movie I had lent that to someone at work and never got that back. and then I lent a friend one of the Purge movies. I think it might have been Anarchy and Let's Be Cops, and I've never had those back either. Really disappointing.
What a tragic loss to your collection.
I've not read it.
I've got really hot. I'm going to tell you, it's because I've had a cup of tea.
Jeremy, Laserdisc and HD DVD has more of the disc rot than any other physical media.
Right.
So far.
I need to worry then. It's fine.
Yes. Clark and Money just added, you rotter.
Mm.
World Money Wins is with us as well. Hey. Howdy. Hope you're keeping well. Ridley Cinema. I've seen too many videos lately of people justifying different aspects of their collecting. Who other than yourself has authority over your collection? I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, and I mean, well, you have to because he's put words in capitals.
Yes. I should have shouted it, shouldn't I?
You should have done. You need to take it very seriously when it's in capitals.
V Wong, evening everyone. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. We are, thank you very much. I hope you are too. World Money Wins. I like to stream stuff to see if I want to buy it, which is good if you can find it streaming. Sometimes that's the difficulty at times. Ridley Cinema. As far as I'm concerned, it's my collection. It's my money spent. So who's anyone else to justify my collection?
No, to anyone else, how I justify my collection.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Johnny. The only disc rot I've seen is DVD set of Chewing the Fat, Scottish show, likely small print run and done very cheaply. The whole box set was knackered years ago.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I've heard that one.
I suppose it depends on who's producing the disc, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Jerry, films are a healthy hobby. There's a lot worse things to be addicted to. Absolutely.
There is.
Absolutely. Ridley Cinema. I'm just waiting for the moment for the town's Wi-Fi to go out and tell the neighbours, oh, well, good thing I collect physical media.
Yeah, you say that until they're knocking on your door going, could I just borrow?
Yeah. Have you got that?
And then you get it back and there's fingerprints all over it and they've scratched it. They've taken it out of the tray and they've just rested it on the TV unit. Just no.
Sorry, Vic, I'll come back to you in a moment. If you're leaving the disc on the side, do you put it with the label up or the label down? Disc surface on the surface or disc surface into the air gathering dust?
If I was taking something out of the tray and putting it to one side momentarily, it would be momentarily for a start. It wouldn't just be left out at all. I would take it out and I would rest it on its actual cover.
Yeah.
Rather than like a slip cover or Amaray type.
Yeah.
I've never put it on a unit.
Another surface.
I mean, it's a conundrum, isn't it, Phil? Really? Because if you put that side down, you risk getting it scratched. If you put it that side up, it's going to collect dust on there and stuff.
I just wondered because the amount of discs that I see go through CX that are scratched up to all high heaven that I don't know what people do with the discs because they've got that many scratches on. They must frisbee them around the house.
Yeah.
Just no care, but I tend to, like you say, straight from case to disc tray. And if the case is out of the way and I'm removing a disc for another movie, then generally I'll swap the discs and then end up having 5 or 6 discs to go and resort because it's in another case.
I know I'm leaving myself open for criticism here or a joke, but when I take something out of the tray, I put my finger in the hole and lift the disc out so it's around my finger and then drop it off. I don't never fingerprints
it's
on
like you finger in the hole and then you thumb on the outside of the disc.
I mean, the finger in the hole far enough in so it wedges in and then just lift it up like it's wearing a giant flying saucer. And then drop it onto the thing. But sorry. I've lost my chain of thoughts because all I'm hearing is fingers in, and I'm thinking of Lynn watching in the other room thinking, what's she got to be thinking right now? I mean, probably not what you're thinking.
It never treats me like that.
Oh, unbelievable.
All right. Anyway, on to comments.
Just revert back to this because you've ignored her messages so far.
Are they further down? I've not got that far yet.
No. Early on, and you've ignored them, and you'll realise why in a minute.
I lent a bunch of stuff out, then the person I lent it to got robbed, including my stuff. didn't have the heart to ask him to replace it after it's just been broken into.
He didn't. He lied about being robbed. He wanted to keep all of your stuff. He lied.
I hope that was nothing rare.
He's ransacked, and he's like sat there with all of your discs and what have you.
Oh yeah. So, Lynn, I feel special that it's made an appearance. Ooh, what do you mean? What could she be talking about? Oh, Glenn, where did you get that mug from?
Where did I get that mug from? Yeah. Have you seen one like it before?
I've seen one like it. Let me just have a look.
There we go.
Beverage.
There we go.
Beautiful mug.
I've been meaning to bring it in for the last few weeks, and I keep forgetting. And then tonight I remembered, and Lynn said, "I wonder if Phil will remember he's got one as well."
I do. It's on. It's here. It's next to my desk, literally.
It's on his charity bag pile.
No, it's not. No, it's not, Glenn. Don't start her off. Goodness me. Anyway, I've lost where I was with the comments now.
Yeah. There's a lot of disc fingering comments. Lovely mug, clearly.
Oh, Jeremy, my friends, that's a lot to move. Say that's a lot of movies, or say why. However, my brother and one friend are the one and done. They watch something once and never again. They say, "I don't get it," when they see my lot. I have a few friends like that also.
Yeah, I genuinely think though, like I say, I've been productive this week. I've been watching things that I've not seen before, and quite a few things have gone into a CEX bag ready to go off again. Like I say, I took some to CEX this week, I took some last week, I'll be taking some this coming week. I think I really need to be quite harsh with my collection though, and be realistic about what I'm actually going to watch.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest things with it is this constant steady flow of new things that are coming in.
Yeah.
I noticed I've got like a bunch on a shelf that are probably movies from the last couple of years. And I think I'd probably, if I was going to rewatch, I feel like I'd be dipping into one of those or something new that's constantly, we're both going to Nosferatu and things like that. So those things are going to get priority and other things are going to get pushed further back.
Yeah.
Will I sit down and watch the Candyman remake again?
No.
No,
I wouldn't.
Well, but it sat there. But even things that are kind of classic horror, like Wes Craven's original The Hills Have Eyes, I don't know if I genuinely kind of go, I want to sit and watch a horror film. I know I'll go for the 1970, whatever it was, Hills Have Eyes. I'm not saying it's a terrible film. I'm just saying I can't genuinely see me rewatching it.
Yeah.
Anytime soon.
I know this sounds horrible, but if I was going to watch a Hills Have Eyes movie again,
the remake.
I'd watch the remake. It's the same with Dawn of the Dead. I've got the original here. I personally am more likely to watch Snyder's remake than the original as a choice for a rewatch, which is horrible to say because I know the original classics.
That's not us being Philistines because they are deemed as classics. But does that mean they're necessarily a better movie? There's a lot of remakes that I nearly swore then, and I know we're trying not to. A lot of remakes are god awful and shouldn't be touched in the first place. Nobody should go near them.
Mm-hmm.
If it was great in the first place, why are you remaking it? You're never going to hit upon it.
Yeah.
If it's long enough ago where it benefits from a new telling of that story, or it was an okay, mediocre film and will benefit from being remade, fair enough. But gone slightly off on topic. But
absolutely. No, I agree. The remakes just some of them are better for us in a way because we can relate more because of the correct time period. It isn't aged as badly or anything. I don't know.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I prefer the look of kind of modern zombies than I do what Romero was doing. Granted, it was on a budget. You go, carry on. Granted, it was on a budget. But you know, when you go back to them now, it's green face paint and quite clearly like Rice Krispies stuck onto the face. The remake of Crazies, great film.
Yeah, I mean, this has got the original in there as well, but it's the remake I'm likely to rewatch if I'm going to rewatch either of them.
Yeah,
I think it's great. It's a nice little set actually. That one is, and it's got a slipcover.
Oh well, that's good. Woohoo! It's got a bit of cardboard.
But yeah, I did enjoy the remake perhaps more than the original on that one. Anyway, Woody.
Anyway, yes.
Yeah, no longer lend them out. Love the warm feeling of telling someone, no, I don't want to make you a hoarder.
Don't want to make you a hoarder, really?
So meows a lot. Back to the disc rot. I don't know if it was disc rot. I have only had one DVD. The audio started making popping noises. So I upgraded to the Blu-ray, no popping issue.
Sorted.
Riddler Cinema. We had a big winter storm in American Midwest lately. Made sure to charge my PSP so I could finally have a reason to watch my PSP UMD movies. Power didn't go out though.
But did you do it anyway?
Yeah. Did you watch them anyway?
For time's sake. Yeah.
I had a few PSP UMD movies when I had the PSP, and one of them was When a Stranger Calls, which I really enjoy. It's a horror film that
again remake.
And another remake, yeah. I really like it. It's a swift 80-odd minute movie, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Woody, for the handling of discs, label down, disc reading side up, but generally they go straight back in the box.
Yeah, same with me. I don't have discs just knocking around loose. It's not a thing.
Jerry Cheer, I have special microfiber gloves when handling or putting discs into his UB820 Panasonic 4K player.
I love this like half-hour build-up of almost like a ceremonial type thing. And
see, I couldn't wear microfiber gloves. My hands are too big, so I've got like ET fingers, so nothing like that fit on my hands. I'd have to cut the fingers off for them to fit properly, but then it's kind of counterintuitive anyway because it's still touching them.
Jerry walking around like he's a snooker referee, just slowly putting on the gloves.
Yeah. Jeremy Carr, anytime I take a disc out, I keep glasses cloth within arm's reach just in case.
Just in case of a fingerprint.
Yes. Clark of Many, back to Prometheus. Not Prometheus, is it Covenant? Is it Alien Covenant? I'll do the fingering.
Yes, it was. Oh, well remembered. Yeah.
Holy Glenn. AJ Pink likes your mug. Lovely mug, Glenn.
Thanks. It means my fate.
Yes. Riddler Cinema. My kid knows not to touch the movie collection without asking. Same way my parents were. Yeah,
that stopped you for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, you still haven't upgraded the TV in your living room, have you?
No.
Your reasoning for that for a long time was the kids just going up and like pointing at things on the screen.
Yeah, they used to touch it all the time. It was annoying. So, that's why I didn't upgrade it. But, yeah, I won't let them handle my discs. But they have, in the past, been allowed to handle their own DVDs. But I freak out anyway. I don't like them being near the tray, just in case they push the tray just that little bit harder. No, just make sure it sits nicely. Just drop it on and let it sit.
Back off. Daddy does the fingering.
Yes, exactly. Jeremy, off topic. Anyway, Nosferatu, best moustache ride of the year.
It's riding this moustache anyway, Jerry.
I'm looking forward to the rewatch.
But apparently, it's just on a tangent on that one. The extended cut's only 4 minutes longer.
Yeah, so I think I'd heard 40 minutes someone mentioned, and then it came out as 40
odd, and that's why I was saying, the length of the movie was fine for me. I wouldn't have wanted it that much longer, and it is actually 4 minutes, isn't it? So
yeah. World Money Wins. I like the 2006 Black Christmas better than the original. I'm with you on that. I've got the. I think I've still got the DVD of that I kept hold of.
Well, it's been remade since then as well, hasn't it? But it's the 2006 one that you like.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's daft. It's corny, and it's quite enjoyable in a way. It's Katie Cassidy and Lacey Chabert, I think, in that one. And then the latest remake has got another favourite of mine, and I've completely forgot her name.
I was going to say you're just naming chicks now, I've noticed.
Yeah.
I really liked that one. Oh, why did you like it, Phil? Oh, well, Lacey Chabert's in it. Yeah.
I forgot her name. Help me out. She was in Green Room and that TV show Roaders. Imogen Poots. Imogen Poots. Anyway, Ridley Cinema about to hit 3,500 Blu-rays, and as of late, I almost feel like I've got to take one of my back pills just to put up movie shelves. So much up and down, and moving around a movie from one shelf to the next.
You want to get one of them, you know that they have in big fancy houses in the libraries, where it's a ladder that rolls along. You want one of them?
I'm just thinking of
kick off the wall and disappear along.
Gene Hackman in Superman.
Mm.
That's what I was thinking of. V Wong. I keep spotting stuff that I want after the Black Friday and Christmas period. Just picked up Alien 4K from CEX yesterday as it had the slipcover. Did watch most of it. Same night though. Nice. I wish I could watch stuff same day. It's been so long. I'm planning to the next thing that well, I don't know if it's the next, but a release that I've got on order when that comes through, trying to watch that literally the same week. If I can watch it in the same week, I'll be happy. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and hit it straight away. If it's not for me, I can get rid as quick as possible. If it is, then I'm going to check out the extras and see what's what and see if I want to keep hold of it or not.
Okay. Do I know what this film is?
I think I might have mentioned it. It came off the recommendation from someone on here, I believe. Last Stop to Yuma County.
Oh yeah. Somebody did mention that, didn't they? Yeah.
So it sounded
an Arrow release.
Yes.
Yeah.
It sounded very much up my street. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to target to get that and get it watched within a week. So make a deal.
Yeah.
I'll try.
We will see.
When it comes through.
Yeah.
Jeremy Carr, ridiculous reason I've encountered rebuying a TV series plus and read that for me, Glenn. I'm losing my words.
Ridiculous reason I've encountered rebuying a TV series on a new press, not necessarily for upgrade in any way other than in sleek box to save shelf space.
There we go.
Yeah. So a new pressing was
Yes, I know what you mean. It just threw me. But yeah, I agree with the TV show box sets. Some of them were right chonky things, weren't they?
Jonky. The word jonky.
I think Walking Dead went through a period of having chunky boxes and then the thinner ones, and then they'd do multi-season sets that were even smaller.
I've done that in the past where it's been like a trilogy of films and you buy each individual release when it comes out, and then at the end of the third one coming out, they always do a trilogy box set, and that's always, as slim as like one or else 1.5 cases, and you think that would really cut things down nicely on my shelves when
forcing you to rebuy.
It was space saving when actually just stop buying as much and it saved much more space.
Ridley Cinema is like some people use discs to spread mayo on their sandwiches.
Some of them are atrocious when I've seen them.
Yeah.
DVDs more so.
To be honest, in the CEX, it amazes me the state of some of the boxes, let alone the discs. It's
somebody mentioned it to me this week, and I've encountered it a few times in there where it says in the corner, "This is a reprinted cover or something."
Yeah.
You think, well, where was the cover in the first place?
Yeah.
Was it? There must have been a cover for there to be a barcode for them to have scanned it in. Unless people are just trading in where they bought it where it's disc only.
Yeah.
And then had to actually type in and then print it off. But I wonder if you get less for it.
Yeah, I bet you do. I bet they give you pence.
I would hope so.
Pennies. Anyway, back to the comments. Johnny, I'm going to have to buy Twilight. Hate them. So Blu-rays as cheap as chips. Kid wants them.
Yeah. Kid wants them.
Yeah. Are they not streaming anywhere? Surely they'd be streaming them.
I mean, just wait. Surely there's a 4K box set around the corner.
Yeah.
We did watch a couple of them. I think I've told this story before, but we were at San Diego Comic-Con and we had no idea what it was whatsoever. And it wasn't until we were queuing outside Hall H, and it wasn't until a few people had come out that we managed to get in, and it was the very end of the panel for Twilight.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these girls were screaming and whatever. We were like, no idea what they're talking about. Never heard of the books or anything like that. So when the film came out, me and Lynn did actually go and see the first one at the cinema to kind of see what all the fuss was about. And honestly, I didn't hate the first one. I quite liked its kind of low budget indie feel going on. I wouldn't say it's a film I particularly like, and I've never owned it or anything like that, but didn't hate it.
Fair. Ridley Cinema, justifying collection to fingering. We've got really far off topic. This is a YouTube stream, isn't it? Well, yes, it is. I'm going to get back on topic in a second. I'll just crack through another couple of comments.
He wants to try and join his OnlyFans with his YouTube channel, you see. So we're slowly introducing these terms and phrases.
My grandfather's sister, great aunt, told me when I went over to her house, I was maybe 5 years old. If I touch the TV screen, she'll break my finger. Trauma for life. That's fair. Anthony, my only justification is that I want to watch it, even if I don't watch it now, but will eventually.
Yeah, I think half the thing I'm looking at with my collection, you know, rather than saying, well, I'll watch it eventually, actually going, will I genuinely watch it at some point?
Yeah.
Because I'm always adding to the collection with newer things that are probably going to take priority.
That's it. That's the thing, isn't it? It's the newer things that are always taking priority. So some of the older things just don't get a look in.
Yeah, and I'm not saying priority simply because they're newer, as in, well, those titles are older, therefore I won't watch them. But
yeah,
of the older titles, there will be certain ones that I would go for over others.
Yeah.
And then I've just got to try and be strict with myself and go, actually, if I fancied, you know, a horror movie from the 70s or the 60s or whatever, which ones would I genuinely go for?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just reaching down to grab a...
reach down rather than reach around.
I want to get on to sort of back to topic of the justification. And I'm not sure sometimes how I justify certain things that I have in my collection. For example, we're going to go big here. Big one first. Can I justify having something like this in my collection?
I mean, you're just opening up a can of worms there, really.
Absolutely. I mean, I bought it, you know, it's a Marvel film, so I needed it as part of my Marvel collection, etc., etc. And then reality hits that, you know what? I'm not sure if I actually want to rewatch it again. I mean, I might if we ever did a live stream commentary or watch along with it. It might get used, but yeah, I can't. The justification was I needed it in its limited edition form for the collection, for the Marvel collection that I've got behind me here, because it can sit in the Marvel collection along with what Elektra I've got as well, which I didn't particularly like. And it's those sort of justifications that
you've got Elektra on your shelf.
DVD, yeah.
DVD as well.
It was from. I bought it when it was originally released, and
at which point justification will be, oh well, I'll get rid of that. Oh, CEX will only give me a penny for it. I might as well keep hold of it.
This is the thing. It's I'm just sort of questioning how I justified the pickup for myself. If I didn't think to the basics of, do I want this film and do I want to watch it again? Is there always other justification reasons that we use to enable us to spend the money and pick it up? And it's that sort of thing that I wonder. It's how do we justify that purchase to ourselves when we're not sure it's a film that we actually want to sit and watch? Do you ever do it?
Yeah, always do it.
Go on, shoot me an example.
Well, no, I mean, well, I've got quite a large kind of Vincent Price collection, and the thing is, when I go back through them, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 that I just kind of, you know, I've got like the Mad Magician and things like that.
Yeah,
I'm probably, you know, if I watch that in the next few days, I can guarantee that I'd probably not watch it again for another 10, 12 years, if at all. At which point you need to genuinely start thinking, it doesn't need to be there. I've watched it, it's refreshed, it's kind of, don't need it in the collection.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to chop my collection down to just like a few shelves of films that properly kind of are my favourites. That, you know, I've joked to you before about, you know, if the place was on fire and you ran in and you could only grab like your top 20, 30 favourites and run out with them in your arms and what have you, which would those be?
Yeah.
Because they're then the important ones in your collection. And the rest of it is just there, really.
Yeah.
And I also wonder as well. Sorry, let me just get this one out. If I crept into your house tonight and I swiped 5 random titles off your shelves, I wonder how long it would take for you to notice that they were even missing, or whether you'd even notice at all.
Depends.
Because I've had a few moments where I've kind of been going down my shelves and I go, "Oh, I forgot I got that."
Yeah. To be honest, when I was looking for some titles for this live stream, I was going through my shelves and I thought I saw a few titles. It's like, oh, I thought I'd got rid of that. I didn't realise I still had it. And yeah, I think it was last week when I pulled out the Punisher Blu-rays. Just completely forgot I even owned them.
At which point you also thought then, oh, I'll probably give these a look at some point.
Yeah, possibly the first one, the Thomas Jane one, but yeah, Warzone, I won't be bothered about it. That can probably go. But then, I mean, the best justification is because I want to see it. And I think that has to be the only justification that you want to see it, really. I mean, there's another sort of section of things that we both get drawn into. And when we appreciate a director, such as Tarantino, we get sucked into buying certain titles, and the justification is, well, it got recommended by Tarantino because it influenced his film. So we're justifying the pickups because we're influenced by a certain director. So I've made pickups like this action double bill, Race with the Devil, and Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry.
Yeah.
They're both pretty good films, actually, to be honest. I really enjoyed them. And things like Breathless as well, where you can see this one, I do want to see it. It's one that I won't get rid of because I do really want to see it. But it's sat in the collection for a good number of months, years so far unwatched. And it needs to be a consideration if I'm actually going to get to watch it. Is it worth it?
You even mentioned on that, you can find it on YouTube. There's an hour-long Tarantino documentary that wasn't Panorama. It wasn't called Exodus. It was something along one of those that makes documentaries for like BBC. And Tarantino was just releasing Pulp Fiction, so it was like the peak of everyone's recognition of who he was and things. And it followed him around, and he went to his video store and all that kind of stuff. And he sat down and he was going through various different films that had inspired him. And Breathless was one that he actually put on his own screen. He put his VHS in and played it and paused it and was talking about the thing and what have you. So yeah, off the back of that, when it was released, I bought it as well.
Yeah.
Having read his book, I bought a few little titles to kind of go through. They are ones that I am now going through.
But then also with that justification for it giving you a reason to buy these titles and have that justification to buy those titles, it can also lead to some cracking discoveries though as well.
Yeah.
Because you've discovered a number of movies this way that you've really enjoyed, because I've heard you mention Twisted Nerve quite a few times that you really dug into from influenced by Edgar Wright, I think, for that one.
Edgar Wright and Tarantino. It's one of Edgar Wright's favourites, and Tarantino had never seen it. And then Edgar showed it to Quentin. Quentin loved it. Quentin now has his own 35mm print of it and plays it at his cinema and stuff. And the theme from Twisted Nerve is used in Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was his inspiration for that. So, yeah, I mean, that's something I discovered through them too.
So those sort of things, it's when you think about the justification, it's worthwhile justifying it for that reason sometimes because of discovery. But I suppose it's the choice then of what we keep on the shelves and what we keep hold of. It's not just the viewing of them; it's the hoarding of them. If you like,
it's keeping it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Keeping it because you actually really like it and because you are going to rewatch it.
Absolutely. Clock of Money just commented if you were to take 5 randoms, 5 from one genre, I might notice that you've been, but 5 random picks, probably not for ages. Which is fair. I'm just going to hop backwards in the comments so I can catch up with people as well. There we go. Jerry, I'm just going to breeze over this comment and then we'll come back to it later if you like, Glenn. It looks like Lee Wannell's Wolfman reimagining is getting bad reports. Despite this, my pre-order is in. We'll tell you about that in a few minutes.
We will. We went to see it this week, didn't we?
We did.
We did.
Woody, I also kind of enjoyed the first Twilight, mainly due to the camera angles, lighting, and settings. It was kind of arty.
Yeah, it was. It had that low budget indie feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. I don't think I watched past. I don't think I watched the final 2, the one that was split in 2 halves, but I did watch the rest of them.
The last one I caught some of was the one where there was the weird CGI baby.
I didn't see that one.
Genuinely couldn't tell you which one it was.
I assume it was the last one, but
right.
It wasn't one I'd seen anyway. Ridley Cinema. How can we expect people? How can we expect people to respect anything when they don't respect their own things, themselves or others? Sorry, that took some getting out. Then.
Yeah, but that's. Yeah, I mean, I don't. People, like I say in CEX, some of the things I've seen. Yeah, I'm wondering whether they actually, when the car's frozen over in the morning, whether they just grab a DVD and start scraping the ice off with it or something. They look awful.
Yeah. Jeremy, you know what's ridiculous? Rebuying a movie you own around the holidays for gift set goodies. Like the Terrifier set. There's a lot of people grab that around the holidays. There's a lot of goodies in that one.
Wow. It was perfect timing.
Big Jace, I've justified the DVD, the Blu-ray, and the Steelbook.
Justified.
Yeah. Ridley Cinema, why we're justifying why we bought it. Maybe we should justify why it exists to begin with, to then be bought. Sorry, I'm struggling with words today.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. Jeremy, with regards to the 5 titles, I have OCD, so I would notice.
Well, I'd like to think that I would, but on the odd occasion, I don't know whether there's things that I think I've purchased and aren't there, and then I discover things and I think, oh, I don't remember owning that, or I think I've got rid of it. So I'd like to think most things, if you said I want to watch Silence of the Lambs, I know where to go to, what shelf it's on, where it's sat, and things, but I've got other shelves that are a little more muddled and mixed genre and stuff, but
yeah.
Anyway.
Ridley Cinema, sometimes all the justification I need is life is hard, I deserve this little treat. Which is fair. Nicholas is with us as well. Good evening, Nicholas. Only thing I would like to ask you, I've got a question for you, Nicholas. Why does Jeremy Carr get top billing in your comment? Look at that.
What's that all about?
Evening, everyone. Jeremy, Phil, and Glenn. Jeremy Carr show. Me. He's taking over this thing.
Well, Jeremy's like the puppet master, isn't he? He's he's working us.
The other thing I try and justify certain pickups for as well, and I grabbed a bunch of them, but when it's a limited edition and when it's part of a specific collection, I got sucked into the numbers game and the 101 films thing, and you sort of buy in the limited editions and you're justifying it thinking it's limited, it might sell out, I've got to get this edition because it's part of this collection. And these were kind of ill thought out, because as much as I wouldn't mind a rewatch of Screamers or checking out New Kids, which I haven't done yet, I didn't really need to be justifying getting the limited edition straight away just because it's in that box set. I mean, I can't be that interested because
they're still sealed. Yeah, and if they'd been announced but they weren't limited edition, would you have even bothered?
I couldn't tell you either way. I don't know. Probably not. If they weren't limited edition, I would have that thing of it's not limited. I don't need to rush. It'll be there for in the future if I need to pick it up or anything. So
I certainly feel that way more so about a few titles. Now I've got a bit of CEX credit. There's a few bits and bobs that have come out They're not limited edition. I don't care whether they've got slip covers or anything. I'm quite happy to wait until they appear discounted.
Yeah.
I noticed this week, and CEX I went into, they had Beetlejuice 2. It was immaculate. Slipcover was immaculate, everything. And it was £15.
Really?
A month ago, that was £25.
Yeah.
Just waiting that little bit.
Have you watched it since you picked it up?
Yeah, I've rewatched it.
Yeah.
Lynn hadn't seen it before, so
fair.
She wasn't really fussed, and she was doing something else and just said, I'll put anything on. So I put Beetlejuice 2 on in the background. So I rewatched it, and Lynn probably watched about 60% of it.
Yeah. I think it's more frustrating for things like that when you've picked it up at the full price, you haven't watched it, and then you see it at the reduced price, and you think, I could have waited. And that's my problem for a lot of the things I've got here. This is why I've sort of been pulling back from picking as much up in the recent months, because I know I'm just not getting to it, and seeing the prices fall, it's a bit grating at times.
I've been good lately. I'm selling more things than I'm actually buying.
Yeah.
I've sold quite a lot on eBay this last couple of weeks, including books and posters and various different bits and bobs. And the only things I've picked up are... It's like I had them handy. Out of Sight 4K, the Kino Lorber release. And I was very excited to get Substance through on 4K.
Nice.
Very unexcited by the fact that, I don't know if you can see that. So special features.
Let me embiggen you a second.
Embiggen me. So special features. Featurette. Now, a couple of weeks ago, you might remember I said I'd seen a really good making of the Substance. You can debiggen me now, please.
Yeah, no, I'm sat back down now. Go on.
Yeah. Debiggen me. Thank you. On YouTube, there's a really, really good 25-minute making of the Substance. And I thought, well, that'll be the featurette that's on there. No. 2 minutes and 15 seconds is the featurette on this, just interviewing the director. Oh, and I did this film for this reason, that reason, and it just, this was the idea behind it. I hope everybody enjoys it. That's it. That's the only extra on there. Anyway.
That sucks.
I'm going to eat a truffle. You carry on.
I'm going to skip through to the comments then. Jeremy Carr, there is no justification for art cards, biscuit tins without biscuits. That's fair. I've got art cards in these 101 Films releases, though. I just don't know what they look like because they're still sealed up. They could be ones to be called when I go through that. Woody has not mentioned trances this week. Oh, I've just done it.
Oh, dear.
God damn it.
Can I just say I'm really comfortable, and I don't know whether it's just... I mean, I'm sat here eating chocolate truffles, and I'm sat here with my cup of tea. I'm quite chill this week. It's nice.
That's bad. Big Jace, I was looking on Amazon last night. Some films to purchase can be cheaper from CEX, and then you own the physical. Why buy the digital? I think digital has its uses. I buy digital quite a bit for when I'm working away, when it's on offer, when I'm just being lazy as well. And it's handy. It's it's good for me at times. I like to balance between both.
It was quite a half-assed justification that you came out with, though, to be honest.
What's that?
I like to buy digital because, if I'm working away or...
I was going to go into that, but they've had it before.
Yeah.
The Gaming Gentleman. Hey, gents. So, have you both managed to pick up 7 on 4K? The new package information is frustrating as it sticks out, feels flimsy, and the spine is the opposite way round. Should I even care about this?
I did mention this last week when I'd picked mine up. Yes, it does jut out that a little bit further. Yes, there's nothing written on the spine. The plus side is it's a plain black spine and it sticks out further than anything else. So you can find it straight away, if nothing else. But yeah, it is a little bit disappointed. I've not actually cracked it open either, to be honest. So
I've not picked it up yet.
On the inside.
I'm staying strong. I've not picked it up yet. I'm waiting for a price drop, but it is on my wish list, want list, need list. Because I do need it in my collection, of course. It's a Fincher one. It's a classic movie.
Yeah.
And it's one I would go back to as well.
I mean, I think Ridley Cinema had even put that in capital letters. Need.
I'm not going back through. Not going back through for it.
Not going back through. No.
Big Jace, I want a special collection of Howard.
Oh,
poster art cards to go with my vinyl CD album with the DVD Blu-ray biscuits in. Still need to pick up that magnet you have, Phil. Get on it. What are you playing at?
Yeah, get on it. Complete your collection.
Which magnet? You can't see it now.
No. Phil's slowly moving it out of the room. Bit by bit. No, put it pride of place.
It's on there. It's on there. AJ, if you could keep only 3 films from your collection, what would they be?
Genuinely, I'd have to. I mean, off the top of my head, I'm just glancing over there. Can I say I'll go Psycho, Silence of the Lambs, Scream? Maybe. I don't know. There's loads of good. I couldn't say that I had a top 10 favourite films. I think I'd struggle to kind of get it to 16, 18.
I think I'd go crazy. I'd go something like Kill Bill Volume 1, which has been rewatched quite a few times, and this is a rewatcher.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction.
Roadhouse, because that's classic, and possibly Scream, because that's been rewatched a number of times. But there's quite a few movies that have been rewatched so many times, and it'll be one out of a selection of probably 30.
I think 3 only is quite an impossible ask.
Yeah.
Really?
Anyway, Woody, I thought about buying 7 on 4K a couple of weeks ago, so I thought I'd watch the DVD before I got the 4K. Anyhow, just wasn't enjoying it like I did years ago, so I've not bothered getting the 4K.
Oh, really? Oh.
That's fair. It's probably a good thing that you've tried the rewatch before you bought the 4K, to be fair.
Yeah.
Good thinking. That's 25 quid saved.
Good thinking, Batman.
Yeah. One thing that I did pick up, why you done your pickup as well, a week or so ago, I know I spoke about this on a live stream as it being one of those titles that I wanted to track down. And I went onto Amazon and I saw it. It's at quite a reasonable price. I picked up the Criterion DVD of Hard Boiled for the collection. And it's one of those sort of grail things, one that I've been after for years. Sort of kept looking every now and again, and it was always mega expensive. Literally bought this, and it was a couple of hours after I purchased it on Amazon. There was an announcement from Shout Factory to say that they got the rights to the John Woo films through a deal that was done for 150 odd movies.
I mean, but we've joked about it before, but there is something called the Phil effect.
Yes,
where Phil will import a film, and as soon as it's on its merry way and it's halfway across the Atlantic or wherever, it will get announced as a UK release.
Yeah,
it happens all the time. The Phil effect is real.
I mean, there's nothing much on this disc. My bootlegs far better, really. It was just one of those things that I'd wanted for years. So it was like, yeah, I'm going to treat myself and I'm going to get it. And then it's like, yeah, new edition. So Phil effect.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. Big Jace, I was thinking of updating Smallville on Blu-ray, but ITVX and Amazon Prime have all seasons on there for free.
Not just free. For free.
I actually bought Smallville on iTunes. I think it was about 20 quid for the whole lot or something like that on an offer. And yeah, I've been watching an episode and then watching the Rosenbaum podcast for the behind the scenes stuff. Not very far through it because I don't get enough time, but yeah, I quite enjoyed doing that. But yeah, you can do it on ITVX or Amazon as well.
Somebody save me. That's all I can remember of it, really. I just didn't enjoy it. At the time, I felt like it was too teeny.
Yeah.
How old would I have been when that came out? Would I have been in my teens? No. 20s?
Yeah, probably early 20s.
Yeah.
Early 20s.
How does that work when I'm only 28 now? I
can't do the math, but
I can't do the math on that one. So let's just move
I think
on.
you're lying.
I think I probably am.
Yeah, Ridley Cinema. A friend recently got into buying some childhood toys. She found a 70s Barbie set from the 80s and told me she could make payments of £20 on it. I said, if you've got to make payments on a toy, you can't afford it. Absolutely. For a toy, yeah. 80 quid for a toy.
Yeah, well, I mean, you say that. I said to you this week, I've been watching a lot of Froggy Flips.
Yeah.
Who buys toys, various different things. He'll buy quirky monster things, but a lot of it's vintage stuff, and then obviously flips some, keeps some for himself. Some of the money he drops on things. There was like some, it was because he collects a lot of like Chuck E. Cheese kind of related things.
Yeah.
And there was one of the animatronics that was no longer animatronic. It was only like this big, something like that. And he dropped like $1,300 on it. So there's big money out there being spent on the right things, but people spend a lot of money on the wrong things. There's
some crazy collectors out there. I mean, I get that you sort of enjoy franchise or something like that, but my thing at the minute, I want to clear some things down because I realised that I've been collecting some things that are kind of pointless for me, and they've stocked up the shelves. And even those franchises that I enjoy, I don't need to be getting all the toys for it, or you know, all the extra little things that come out. There's the figures, the books, the posters, the card whatevers, the amiibos, the whatever. I don't need them all. And I think they can make your shelves look really cluttered if you have too many. If there's a couple, they look fine, things like that. But when you start clutching it up with too many things, I think it's just a bit overbearing and a bit too much, and things lose their impact when there's too many of them.
Well, I've said this, you know, when I was younger and probably up till quite recently, especially when I was younger, if I went to the cinema and I saw a film as a kid and really liked it, I'd then want the poster, I'd want the tie-in book, I'd want the figures to go with it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Ultimately, does all of that increase your enjoyment of that film? Probably not. And I think a lot of it is I enjoyed the buying aspect rather than the owning more, I think.
Yeah.
I like, you know, I don't really buy toys that much. You know, I got rid of my last couple of Funko Pops this week, which I'm glad to see the back of because they're atrocious. They're just terrible things. But, you know, up until... When did I stop buying them? When was the last time I stopped buying them? Probably only a couple of years ago, at the most.
Yeah.
Because at the time it was like, oh, that's to do with the franchise I love. So therefore I'll have that and that can go on my shelf and that'll kind of... I don't know what it adds, though. It doesn't add anything.
No.
I've said to you, I'd rather have like one nice kind of expensive piece than have lots of little plastic crap everywhere, really.
Especially when some of them just stay in the boxes as well. I don't see now, especially I just don't see the point in getting these nice figures or anything like that and having them just sat in the boxes. It doesn't make as much sense to me because you're not able to.
If you're doing that, are you actually buying them for yourself? Because you're not getting the most out of the item.
Yeah.
And if you're only doing that with the thought of, well, when I come to sell it, it'll be worth more because it's sealed.
That's it. But what's the point thinking like that?
Buying it to flip it, really, rather than actually buying it for yourself to enjoy.
That's it. It doesn't compute with me anymore. And the other thing that's not sitting right with me as well, Jeremy's just put on there. This is Jeremy says, "Streamline it, Phil," which is when I'm going to decorate in here.
No, I think he means this is going on a bit. So, should we draw it to a close? Should we?
Yeah, okay.
Is that what you mean, Jeremy?
Okay.
Well, Jeremy's the boss, as we've established.
Yeah, I know. It's I do want to streamline some of the figures and things that I've got on here. I've got a little shelf over there with some minifigures, and I've just decided to get rid of all of them and just have a nice game controller there as well, because that's where my PlayStation sits. So I want to get rid of the plastic. So yeah, Jeremy does say no, streamline the collection.
Oh, okay. Yeah, earlier on somebody did say Jeremy pays everybody on here.
I saw that. Yeah.
That's why he's the boss.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll come back to comments. There we go. NCH 103. Ain't always.
It's Nick. It's my friend.
Ain't always best to buy the steals, box sets, limited editions, or singing or dancing sets. If you have to sell later, we'll always realise more than standard editions. Standard editions devalue.
That's what we were just talking about, Nick. So you're buying with the intention of reselling. So you're not buying it for your own collection.
Well,
you're not getting the most out of it because you're just thinking, well, I'll keep it sealed because then it'll be worth more when I sell it on.
Yeah.
If it was something you really loved, you would never be getting rid of it. So it wouldn't matter.
Anyway. You tell him, Glenn.
No, well, I have these conversations with Nick anyway.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. Sorry, I'm just flicking through a bit more. Nick, again, NCH 103 DVDs all 10p now, but I got a Kill Bill DVD box set recently and had to pay 40 quid. Yeah. Also, years down the line, you can buy standard editions loads cheaper.
I think you're referring to the Kill Bill box set that you got for your birthday, Nicholas. Oh my God! Sorry, I'm distracted because there's a loving happening between Lynn in the other room and Jeremy. He's decided to not wait for Lynn's sisters, and he's just going for Lynn instead.
V Wong, the amount of times I've justified pickups just purely because they're cheap, good deal. I've got 3 copies of Tremors, Blu-ray 4K still, and Arrow collectors without really even intending to. I did that a lot at one point. So I've got things like Showgirls, which I added to my collection. I think it was on offer for 6 quid. And yeah, it was like, oh, it's only 6 quid. It's in sale. And it can be part of my Paul Verhoeven collection.
Yeah.
And it was justified for a couple of reasons. So it was cheap and it was for the Verhoeven collection. But was it a movie I wanted to watch? Still sealed.
Clearly not, yeah. I've never seen it. So what I will ask is, Jeremy, what did you think to it? Jeremy will have watched it.
I mean, this was cheap and on offer as well. And Pacific Rim Uprising.
Yeah.
And I picked it up because, it's cheap. It'll sit with Pacific Rim, which it doesn't. And it's got the 3D version in there, and 3D doesn't get produced that much anymore. So I might as well grab it now. And it's still sealed, not watched, because I don't know if I'm interested in watching
the first one, because the first one's separate in your Guillermo del Toro collection.
Exactly. Yeah. You know me. You know me, man.
I know you. I know you. Dave, isn't it? Dave? Bob.
Yes. Really similar. Collections like movies and toys can be fairly inexpensive if you do it right, but I can't ever imagine making payments on a collectible. I think it depends on the collectible, really. If it's, but yeah, I can't imagine going that far to be wanting to do payments on a collectible to be able to have it. Don't know about you. Is there any collectibles that you would make payments on?
No, I mean, I don't even have a credit card, so I will literally, if I've not got the money to buy something, it doesn't get bought. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AJ Pink loves 7, the only steelbook I have because of the digipacks sticking out. That packaging.
I'm just going to cut out a little hole in the wall so that when I push it on the shelf, it goes flush with all the other ones. I don't think that's too extreme.
No.
I think that's fine.
We've got Riddler Cinema. I buy Blockbuster cases whenever I see them out in the wild. I don't seek them per se, but I do have a growing collection. I don't even watch the movies that come in them. It's just nostalgia for the cases. Is this for DVD Blu-ray, or are we going back even to like VHS for the boxes, or is it anything goes? Would you collect anything like that?
I mean, I tell a lie. I've got 3 pop vinyls left. For whatever reason, I don't feel like I can part with my Guillermo del Toro one. And I can kind of justify that by going, I met the guy, he's lovely, there's no other kind of merchandise to do with Guillermo, so I'll keep that. Edgar Allan Poe one, I'm slightly obsessed by Edgar Allan Poe. I have Edgar Allan Poe tattooed on my arm, look, he's there. And my Blockbuster video one. Because, I worked at Blockbuster, you worked at Blockbuster, that's how we met. And that's quirky and nice, and it doesn't, it's not trying to represent somebody.
Yeah,
it's a video case, so it's fine. I'm fine with the quirk value of that.
Well, the funny thing is as well with Ridley mentioning about Blockbuster, my next video that'll be out next week, I actually went to a video shop and there was a lot of collectors in there, and one of the things that does sell, you can see in my thumbnail, which I've just prepared, one of the things that does sell on these things are the stickers on the cases. You can see that case there, it's got the Blockbuster sticker on there, and that sort of gives that movie more value because it's got one of the original stickers on there. These things and that brand, it still sells really well, and a lot of people still collect for it.
I clicked on and had a look on eBay not that long ago, and there was people selling T-shirts that got Blockbuster on, or key rings and all that kind of stuff, and they sell.
Yeah,
it is just like the representation of video stores in general is almost kind of summed up under Blockbuster, under that title. Yeah. I mean, there was so many other video shops. One we used to go to was called Cinema One.
Nice.
What were the other famous? There was Ritz, wasn't there, over here?
Ritz was taken over by Blockbuster. Then there was Choices. There was Hollywood Video.
Hollywood Video.
And then in my local town, we had some independents. There was one called Video Nights, which was spelt with a K, like the knight in the shining armor. There was House of Video, which was a house that had video shelves in there with videos. And there's one called King Street Video, which was located on King Street.
King Street. Surprising that, isn't it? It's crazy. How did they come up with these names? It's brilliant.
Cracking.
Brilliant.
Anyway, let's get back to comments again. NCH 103, I won't ever resell unless I have to.
Wow. You might as well then just take them out of the boxes and enjoy them, Nick.
Yeah.
Play with them on a desk. Oh, look at me, I'm doing this.
Get them out of the boxes and make a nice,
with all of your figures, get them all out.
Nice diorama.
Yeah.
Jeremy, when it comes to collecting figure, best advice I got was streamline what you have. Go for what is the best representation of the things you love. Yeah,
I think, well, I mean, my best example of that was where I was starting to collect all of the Ghostface Royal Bubbles.
Yeah.
And it was Ghostface in a different position with a slightly different background. It's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I've now got one. I sold all the others. That's it. He represents Scream now. That's all I need. I don't need every single one that's ever been released.
That's what I'm trying to do with the things that I've got on my shelf as well. I don't want too many. I want the best representation or one thing to represent it rather than it getting missed in a crowd of different things, because you have so many, one important or best thing just loses any impacts because it's among so much of this stuff.
Unfortunately, when you start down that route as well, you really do get sucked into it, where as soon as a new thing comes out, you need to have it because you've created such a collection so far. I don't think many people can just stop dead and go, no, that's enough. I've done it in the past, but I could really feel, I'm using that as an example, but it's a good example, really. I could feel myself getting swept up in it and seeing ones coming out and thinking, when is this going to actually stop? Because there'll be one now, there'll be another one in 3 months' time, there'll be another two down the road. Do I want to keep doing it at this point? I just decided, no, now's the time to stop it dead.
Yeah.
Before it spirals. Yeah.
It can do. Ridley Cinema, I have a few VHS Blockbusters cases, but the DVDs are easier to find. Probably have about 30 to 40 DVDs and 3 VHS. Altered. Are there any Funko Pops you'd like to see or sell? It could be sell.
I think it's C.
C.
How many? Is there any you'd like to see? No, I'm not a fan of them. I've ranted about them before on here, where they don't look like who they're supposed to be, realistically.
Yeah.
All they're doing is painted on clothes to kind of represent who they are, or a pair of glasses or whatever. but they don't actually look like anyone. They've not got real kind of features or anything. And I think we get swept up because they are, you know, there's a lot of films that we won't see merchandise for at all because they're not. Well, for example, like Wicked or something like that. You know, that instantly generates figures and notepads and posters and, you know, everything you can possibly think of as a merchandise stream type thing. Yeah. Whereas the films that we like that are a little more left field or whatever, I mean, prime example are, which I agree with, is Casino and Goodfellas. You know, you're not going to get merchandise to do with that really, but there are Funko Pops of it. So as a collector, you go, I really like Casino, therefore I will own the Funko Pops of it.
Yeah,
they are just a representation of these. They look nothing like. They're quite awful. Yeah.
I'm going to skip back.
Yes, skip
to
back.
Jerry's comment here.
Oh, okay.
Lee Wannell's Wolfman. Wolfman reimagining is getting bad reports. His pre-order is in. Now, me and Glenn, or Glenn and myself, went to see Wolfman last week, didn't we?
We did.
And so many sort of view, I suppose, or thoughts. I'll kick off and say I was really disappointed with it. I thought it was disappointing.
Yeah. You disliked it more than I did.
Yes.
But it's still quite meh. I described it to you without, I mean, this is probably it's having to be careful and not give spoilers, isn't it? I described it as an Outer Limits episode.
Yeah.
It doesn't really feel like a film. And I genuinely think it suffered because obviously for a long time it was going to be Ryan Gosling. It was a Ryan Gosling vehicle kind of thing. And I think when he stepped aside, I think it clearly affected what budget they were going to throw at it. And you felt that to a degree. Yeah, it felt like a glorified TV episode of Outer Limits.
I think he Lee Wannell as a director, obviously with Invisible Man, he sort of took a different approach to the Invisible Man story as such. He brought it into more of a sci-fi thing, and it wasn't exactly what you expected. And I think he tried to surpass expectations for Wolfman as well. So it's not the traditional Wolfman as such. And personally, I think this time changing it that much so it was different from expectations didn't work for it.
Yeah,
it made it feel like a different type of movie.
Able to change it enough, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
because you have limited avenues to go down. I think it's a guy that gets attacked by a wolf and slowly turns into a wolf, and you can't stray from that far. I think Invisible Man gave him a few more options of where to take it, and I think they gave a fresh take on it. And I don't think this isn't a fresh take, really. I think when you've seen one Wolfman story, you've kind of seen this, really.
That's it, and I think it spent too long building it. The audience was so far ahead of the characters and the script at all times, and that didn't help either. You knew exactly what was coming. You knew where it was going, and it didn't have enough tension or action or any moments like that between everything. When the characters catching up, there wasn't enough for the characters to catch up, and because he was so far ahead, I was just bored. I was bored through it, to be fair. And thinking back, the designs of the things, it reminded me more of a Wrong Turn movie than a Wolfman movie, in a way. Trying to avoid spoilers, but yeah.
I was going to say, yeah. I think we're kind of limited with what else we can say on that one, really.
Yeah, I was
clearly
really hoping,
and make your own opinion on it.
Oh yeah, everyone will have their own view.
Feeling a little kind of
I was just really disappointed because I wanted Lee Wannell to knock another one out of the park because I really enjoyed Upgrade and I really enjoyed Invisible Man. But this one, just for me, it fell on its face, and I was okay, kind of okay with it when I came out of the cinema. Disappointed, but yeah, it was okay. But thinking back on it the next day, it's like, you know what? No, I don't even want to try it again. I'm not interested. That's it.
I genuinely think it's the whole Ryan Gosling factor. As soon as he stepped aside, I think they, like I say, they pulled the budget. They probably got a lot more different scenes in mind, and I think they just had to compromise with a lot of it. The whole thing felt like a bit of a compromise. That's probably a good way to
be honest, when you look at how the film was story-wise and certain scenes and things like that, I think there was certain story threads set up that were perhaps in the original script that were not followed through because of those changes. But when they redid the script, they didn't make all the necessary changes. So there's still things remaining from what was before that could have done with being excised out of there. There's whole sequences in that first third that really didn't need to be there. I don't think anyway, but yeah, it was really.
So anyway, guys, we hope you enjoy it. Yeah, make your own minds up. Obviously, goes without saying. That's just our opinions.
Yeah. There's going to be there will be people that enjoy it, 100%, and I hope they do. But for me,
I just think catch it on streaming, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy, I hope Wolfman is good. Sorry. Jerry Cheer, thanks Phil and Glenn for the mini review of Wolfman. Seems like 2010's version reigns. I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah. Anthony Hopkins one and Benicio del Toro.
I was never particularly interested now. Okay. Jeremy Carr, Werewolves with Frank Grillo was a cool movie that came out recently. Action horror, kind of felt like a video game.
Yeah, I'd give that a look. But again, I feel like that's probably a streaming one for me.
Yeah, AJ, seeing Wolfman in a couple of days set my expectations low, so let's see.
And that's probably it. I think, you were really looking forward to seeing it, and you made a purpose of going to the cinema to see it, which isn't always the case. It was a last minute kind of, should we go? Yeah, let's go. So I wasn't really
expecting much.
I hadn't built it up to anything.
Yeah. Jeremy, damn, is looking forward to Wolfman movie, Phil. Guess I'll pass then. Didn't care for that Invisible Man, but was open to give it a second chance.
Yeah, right, okay.
See, I appreciated the different take on Invisible Man. It's what kept me intrigued with it. But yeah, Wolfman, I'd check it out, Jeremy. Check it out and make your own mind up. These are only our opinions. So you know what I think of Howard the Duck, so go on.
Yeah, we're idiots, so don't listen to us.
I watched A Complete Unknown as well recently and was bored as well. Not as much because I do like Timothée Chalamet, but I'm just not that familiar with Bob Dylan, so that didn't help.
Yeah, I have to say I think it feels weird that they're doing it because everything I've seen of it almost feels like Bob Dylan should have died before they did this. It feels weird that he's still alive and they've done it, and they've even said, it's not completely accurate. It's a dramatization of these events and what have you. And you just think, well, what's the point then?
Yeah.
Really? You're pushing it as a biopic, but then you're kind of saying, well, we're, it's a dramatization. Don't do it then. Don't do it.
Fair. Jeremy, this audience values your opinions. Why else would we be here? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's this or Pottery Throwdown on Channel 4, which I'll be watching after this.
Yeah. I think it's fine listening to our opinions and taking on board what we say, but it's also fine that you have your own taste, and I expect your views on it when you're in the next live stream when you've seen it.
Yes.
So I appreciate the different views. I appreciate hearing other people's thoughts because we're not always right for everyone. But I suppose as we go on, as you get to learn our tastes, you'll also get an idea of what you might enjoy based on what we're telling you about it, because I can't explain it now. I've gone down this path. That
I could see where you were going with it. You'll know kind of if they were to watch something and they enjoyed it, and we'd said, well, we didn't particularly enjoy it, to kind of think the opposite of what we think.
Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of thing. I mean,
if we really enjoyed something, you're probably going to hate it. So, yeah, just ignore everything we say.
Basically. Clock of Money. Cinema expectations at an all-time low for me. Last cinema movie I truly loved was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Just falling out of love with modern movie making. Sorry, Phil. I tell you, I was trying to think of something to say, and I can't quite get there again.
Guardians 3 was my least liked of the three of them, to be honest. It was too... You could feel that James Gunn had recently lost his dog. You could feel that pain and angst towards the animals and what have you throughout it.
Yeah.
And it kind of took away from what Guardians was for me a little bit.
Okay. I was just going to say about...
an animal lover and an animal... I was going to say owner. Probably not the right... somebody that has pets in the family. Let's put it that way. I found it a bit of a tough watch.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the comments about the modern movie making. I think a lot of it now is very... it's there to make money. They've got their algorithms and they know what path to follow to make money, and they get a little bit lazy. And I don't think they get rewarded from creativity anymore. So it sucks a lot of that out there because it is a business and they're about making money. So
somebody posted the other day a thing where they were on about that god awful Red One, which I know you watch, but you watch because of the kids.
Yeah,
I wouldn't watch it with a gun to my head. Just take me out in the garden and shoot me, rather than make me watch that. And they were saying about the budget of it, and it showed on this bar graph type of thing the budget of it, and then it showed all of the A24 releases. And there was about 13 or 14 movies that had been made for the same budget as Red One being turfed out there. There was stuff like Heretic in there and various different bits and bobs. And I just think they're the more enjoyable films.
Yeah.
I get that they think, oh, well, we'll shove The Rock in something, it'll make loads of money. But you're making crap.
Yeah.
And the trouble is, cinema chains are the ones, I mean, Red One's probably a bad example with that, really, because it went prime pretty quick. But cinema chains will buy those kinds of films because they feel like they're the films that get people in. But they're just buying in crap rather than actually putting the good films in there that people actually want to see.
Yeah.
The Substance lasted like 2 minutes down my road. And for me, that was one of the more enjoyable films of last year. Completely different. It's not an appeal to everybody.
I think.
But then I wonder how many people went to see Red One and went, yeah, that was a great film.
I don't know if it's our age or anything like that, but I remember times during particularly the 90s, that there was lots of independent directors coming through and making really interesting movies and really taking a risk with how they approached movie making and things like that. Even looking back at some of I don't know if this is why I love certain directors, but looking back at sort of Sam Raimi, Peter Jackson, Robert Rodriguez, Tarantino, Doug Liman, and people like that, they all made such creative movies. But I don't get that feeling from a lot of modern directors. I think Robert Eggers is very interesting because he's very brave with what he does and things like that with the cinematography, and he takes risks. Sometimes it's paid off for him, sometimes it's probably not. But yeah, there's no one that's taking risks like that anymore because none of the studios or investors want them to take that risk. It's about the money, not about the art anymore.
Well, I was saying about Substance, whose name I will butcher again, Coralie Forget, whatever. When you watch that making of The Substance I was talking about, you can see this low-budget mentality she's got in there, but you can see this raw passion for filmmaking. She loves doing it. And I feel like there's so many that just seem to be studio people.
Yeah.
I mean, Disney want this filmmaking, so of course we're going to get in this director.
Yeah.
And this director seems to be just taking orders from above. How do you want me to make this film? What shot do you want me to make? Who do you want me to have in this film? There's far too many directors that are like that these days.
I hope that Substance, for that reason, I hope Substance does really well with awards, because people like that, they need to be taken care of and pushed. But I think without the success, they might struggle to get the budget for another film to be able to make it to the same level of independence that one has been made for. It needs its support so that the director gets support, if that makes sense. And unless they fall down the path of, like you say, being a yes man again, just to be able to get the budget to make something else.
I like directors as well that kind of keep their budgets low, even though they have the option of doing a higher budget thing.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're used to and what they're comfortable doing. And ones that start off and they keep the same cinematographer and things like that. They keep it all... sorry, just put my phone on silent, which I realised I haven't done. So yeah, anyway, we've gone off topic, haven't we?
Great. That's all right. Carry on.
It's okay.
I was listening to you. I was just waffling about directors and the state of the industry.
Yeah.
So I'll just hop back to comments a minute.
Go for it. Yeah.
There we go. I thought you were ranting a bit more, but I was sat back.
No, I'll curb the ranting, because I know when I start, I don't stop.
Ridley Cinema. My only problem with the new Invisible Man movie was the ending felt left open to interpretation, and I got the feeling filmmakers were saying it's okay to kill your abusers, even if you can't prove abuse. Fair. Woody, I know what you mean. I tend to like things Mark Commode has waffled on about. So if he says give it a watch, I usually will. That's fair. If you find someone that you can relate to like that for the recommendations, then yeah, it's worth following up. Johnny, going to the cinema isn't worth the risk anymore. Too much rubbish made. I think it's too much rubbish getting promoted to too many screens that the issue is. I think there's good movies being made, they just don't get the airing or screen time.
Well, I mean, a movie we both really want to see is Companion, and I'm amazed to see that our local cinemas are getting that. That struck me immediately as something that they would just blank, or you'd get one late night showing and that'd be it. And it's actually got 3 or else 4 showings through the day, which I'm really surprised at.
Jeremy, I feel trailers are a big killer for me. They reveal too much, so the less advertising, the more I personally want to see that particular film in theatres. Franchises, universes are also a problem. Basically, each installment gives the viewer homework to do before they see it. It is getting that way with some of the bigger franchises for Marvel, DC, and other places now as well. Woody, I kind of agree with Jeremy. However, if they show you everything in a 2 to 3 minute trailer, it says to me there is little substance in that movie. Yeah, I said that to you about the Flight Risk trailer that was on when we went to see Wolfman. You've pretty much seen the movie in that 2 minutes, and then that's panned. It
looks awful.
Yeah,
honestly, just cringeworthy filmmaking.
Yeah. NCH 103, even though old school great directors like Scorsese don't hit like they used to with Killers of the Flower Moon, Coppola with Megalopolis, though I liked it more than most. Fincher, The Killer, being the letdowns. Woody, whereas the Night Bitch trailer left you wanting, well, it did for me. I don't think I've watched that trailer.
I think I watched the first trailer for it. I kind of felt like it wasn't going to be for me, so I've not pursued it any further than that.
AJ, have either of you seen Twin Peaks? Thinking about picking up a box set of it. I've never seen it.
We were talking about Twin Peaks in the week, weren't we? Because somebody on here, I can't remember it. Was it last week when we were talking about valuable sets or what were valuable to us?
Yeah.
And somebody had said they got the Twin Peaks Z to A set.
Yes.
And it was difficult to get hold of and what have you. And then this week they've announced that they're re-releasing it because of the death of David Lynch. So what was a bit of a holy grail kind of thing, a bit, out of print and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Suddenly like that, it's massively dropped in value. And it's really annoying when studios do it, but I get why they're doing it, David Lynch was very well thought of.
Yeah. I think I watched a couple of episodes of Twin Peaks close to when it first aired, but it was never a show that I sort of got or gelled with, and I never retried it since.
No, I think it kind of came out at the wrong time for me.
Yeah.
Now I think it'd be something where I go, I'll give that a bash, but I don't know if it. I'm too late to all of it now, especially with them doing another series and things, to actually go back and go through it again.
Yeah.
I can't. I know you shouldn't. I'm not. I don't think I'm speaking ill of the dead, but I've never been a massive David Lynch fan anyway.
Yeah.
His films don't really float my boat. I was talking to you about David Cronenberg earlier, wasn't I? Because I'm getting rid of a couple of bits of his. I always felt like I was a big David Cronenberg fan, but I think I was a big fan of certain ones of his films rather than his whole catalogue of films. But yeah, Lynch was never one I could really get into at all. Like I say, I'm sure he's a filmmaker, and I know he's loved by a lot of people, but it was never my bag.
Yeah, Jeremy Carr, same on Lynch. Ridley Cinema, it comes at night with Joel Edgerton. It's a good example of a well-done film and a well-done premise that could have been franchised, but left to be a good little movie. It's similar to A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed that one. I can't remember much about it, but I know I've seen it. Johnny, I feel like cinema had a wider variety, took risks. I remember back in the day, Michael Moore films in the cinema, and this was in Glasgow. I remember when they had a wider variety as well, because generally the maximum number of screens a big movie would get is 2, if you're lucky, out of a 10-screen theatre. Now it's literally 8. They get 8 screens or whatever. It's just taken over by the big budget things, and they just don't give that variety a chance anymore.
I feel like with our local one, if you don't go and see something that's a little more smaller, a little more independent, if you don't go in that first week, it just gets his legs cut from under it, and it's either on one showing or just disappears completely.
Yeah.
They don't seem to give anything the chance for word of mouth to spread or anything like that. It's kind of, if it doesn't hit in the first week, it's a goner.
Yeah. It is. Ridley Cinema, Eggers could have easily taken any of his successes and turned it into a franchise, but left them as good films in isolation. Not everything needs to be a franchise.
No.
It doesn't.
I like they've announced. I mean, we were talking this week. They've announced that he's going to write and direct a dark sequel to Labyrinth.
Yeah,
that's been confirmed by quite a few sources. But he's also doing a 13th century English werewolf movie. And he said part of that interview, he will never ever do a film set in modern day.
Yeah,
he said, I can't face people having mobile phones or anything like that in a film. I will always do some sort of historical based or fantasy kind of film, because that's just what he enjoys doing.
Fair.
But I'm intrigued by a sequel to Labyrinth that he's doing.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they say. Slipknot fan, do you guys think you could write your own movie script?
Yeah, we probably could if we sat down to do it. I write anyway, or have done, and I keep promising myself I'm going to go back to it. I find script writing a little bit empty, to be honest. I find it a little bit, I don't like how stagnant it is. You know, Dave walks into a room, Dave, hi everybody. Everybody turns around and looks at Dave. I just find it a little, so I ended up I had a story idea and I started writing a book, and I'm a few hundred pages in, to be honest, but
yeah,
I find that, I think just going off on a bit of a thing on this one, I feel like writing a script, you're writing the script and you have an idea of what things will look like and all that kind of stuff, but then when you hand over a script, it's out of your hands then, and then a doctor takes hold of it, and a director has his or her version of it and how they read it and how they imagine it. And I prefer writing a book, because then it's my movie in a way. it plays out as a film in my head, and I can, even down to almost where the camera would be pointing if it was a film. I can see it and play it in my head, and it's my world. So I actually prefer writing a book, but it just takes a hell of a lot of time.
Yeah, I think I'd have a go at it. I know that I've just not got to the time to commit to doing something like that and doing it properly at the minute. But it is something that I've considered. There's a couple of ideas that I've got down a sort of outline for, but I haven't tried to start writing it myself yet. But it is something that's out there. It's in the realms of possibility. But yeah, I think we can manage it.
Timing wise, is the biggest problem, and especially trying to write a book, you can kind of go, "Oh, I've got an hour to myself," but that doesn't mean that's going to be a productive hour.
No,
you sit down and you almost refresh with the last thing that you wrote, and you're either in the mood to do it or you're not. It's not always on tap.
Yeah, my thing is as well. I like to. The dialogue, I like to sometimes talk through it with people now. I don't know if that's come from the acting side of things, but you sort of talk through dialogue and try different lines here and there. And it's like, I want someone to go back and forth with when I'm trying to write the dialogue, give a sort of angle and go from there just to see how it sounds with certain characters. But
so I think between us, we could probably write something.
Yeah. Anyway, we've rambled on for quite a while now. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Off topic and stuff, but there we go.
Way off topic. Is there anything you'd like to add before I wrap this bad boy up?
No.
Very good. Right then, guys.
I'm still shocked that Dumbledore died, but I'll get over it one day.
Yeah.
One day. Yeah.
So Jeremy's trying to bring us back to topic, and I'm trying to wrap us up. So ridiculous reasons for keeping or buying. Everyone is just trying to fill a hole, so to speak.
Yeah.
Are we back to fingering again?
Just fingering that hole, aren't we, Jeremy?
Yes.
Fingering that hole.
Yeah, it's the justification of it, Jeremy. We have to justify certain things in our collection, and the only justification should be, do we want to watch it? Is it something we want to rewatch? And that should be it. It shouldn't be justified because it's part of the collection, because it's on offer or anything like that. I would always go for now if I want to watch it, if I'm going to rewatch it, and that needs to be the thing.
You'll watch
if I love it, which so I will just skip back to this one because Jeremy's throwing us back again. Let us go, Jeremy, let us go. How much mainstream appeal do you think Eggers has for his films? I think none. Most of my friends didn't really get Nosferatu.
No, I don't. I mean, I know a couple of people that went and didn't know what it was about. I hadn't actually heard of Nosferatu. So
really,
they just kind of went and were, well, it's a bit like a Dracula movie. Well, yeah. Well, but I don't think he's got a mainstream appeal at all. I think a lot of people will come in to see it off praise and who's in it rather than the subject matter and the time period, I think
you're right. I don't think he's got that mainstream box office. No, not box office, the mainstream appeal. I think, like you say, it'll go off who's in it and the general word of mouth. But I think he'll carry on making great movies, interesting movies at least.
I don't think he's not interested in mainstream. And what worries me with them talking about he's going to do a sequel to Labyrinth is how, Labyrinth has a fan base, quite a rabid fan base, and have a very specific idea of what a Labyrinth movie should be.
Mm.
And it's how much pressure he gets from outside forces to adapt his style. I find it a very strange match, to be honest.
Yeah.
I get a 13th century English werewolf movie, 100%. That sounds like Eggers to a T, but a sequel to Labyrinth I find very strange.
I'd agree. Johnny, I won't justify my movies, just as I won't justify my Steam library. AJ, The Northman was maybe his most accessible. A few of my friends liked that. Jeremy, thank you for the great stream. You're most welcome, Jeremy.
Jeremy.
like to remind you all, if you're into my videos or VHS collecting, the next one I am going to put out will be on Thursday. It's all about a video store, VHS collecting, retro collecting, and things like that. I think it's a decent little video, so check that out if it comes along. And hope you enjoyed. And until next week, I'll get my thumbnail ready. Catch you all soon. Ta-ra!